Nice night on the way as we get ready to close this Tuesday with mostly clear skies on the way. Low temperatures in the upper 40s to low 50s as high pressure builds back in once again. That's going to set the stage for your day on Wednesday, which will be a little bit warmer in a couple of areas. Upper 70s to the east, mid to at times upper 80s in central and western portions of South Dakota. There is some rain to talk about, but not much. More on that coming up, but until then, First at 4 starts right now.
Live from KELOLAND Media Group, KELOLAND News First at 4.
A CDC panel is now recommending updated COVID vaccines when the shots could be ready to go.
Plus, the U.S. Transportation Secretary made his second stop in South Dakota today, this time listening to concerns from truckers. And later,
a Civil War veteran now buried in a Hartford cemetery finally gets his own headstone 135 years later. The story tonight on KELOLAND News.
Good afternoon, and thanks for tuning in to First at 4. I'm Don Jorgensen.
And I'm Kelly Volk. Developing this afternoon, a group has filed a lawsuit against the Sioux Falls School District for eliminating all funding for gymnastics. The group accuses the district of denying female students the same level of opportunity as male students, violating Title IX.
The lawsuit says that 4 dozen athletes will be impacted by the decision to stop funding. The group says that it wants a temporary restraining order to prevent the district from selling gymnastics equipment. Back in April, the Sioux Falls School Board voted to adopt a budget that included cutting gymnastics.
At that time, the school board and spokespeople for the district cited declining participation numbers as one of the reasons to cut the sport. We're continuing to look through the court documents. We'll bring you a full report on air and online.
U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg was back in South Dakota today, this time speaking with truck drivers. After that, he spoke with KELOLAND's Dan Santella about his trip to the Mount Rushmore State. Dan has a preview of the story he's working on for 5.
U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg was in eastern South Dakota today at this rest area on Interstate 90 near Salem. He spoke with truck drivers and gathered with trucking industry leaders. Especially in focus was the availability of parking for these drivers.
I think since COVID, people have come to pay more attention to how things get where they need to be and who gets them there. But we as a country still have a long way to go. So my basic message to the American people is, if you enjoyed the food you ate for breakfast, the clothes that you're wearing right now, or whatever device you're using to watch these words being spoken, you have truck drivers to thank for that getting to you.
We heard from drivers, we heard from the secretary himself, and I also had a chance to ask him one-on-one what were his big takeaways today after talking with truckers, and then what comes next as far as action. We'll have that report for you later tonight on KELOLAND News. Reporting near Salem.
Notice that the price of gas is once again on the rise. Right now in South Dakota, gasoline costs $3.93 a gallon. That's up 22 cents compared to last week. That may have you wondering why the prices have spiked so suddenly.
We're seeing some refinery issues. Some refineries have gone under maintenance, which is removing some of the supply from the upper Midwest. And that kind of shook the market the middle of last week. And created some concern over supply leading into the winter months. We believe it's short term, but that doesn't mean that we're not feeling the pain at the pump.
The North Dakota Petroleum Council president says the country needs to produce more types of energy to prevent these sudden increases in gas prices.
All right, well, let's take a look at our weather forecast. Very pleasant day. A little bit of light rain this morning moved through the area.
Yeah, it was a little refreshing morning, Adam.
Yeah, a couple of showers crashed the party very early this morning, but thankfully those are gone, and we've had a very pleasant afternoon with really no humidity to speak of, plenty of sunshine, and a nice breeze to go right along with it. We'll start zoomed out on radar just to show the nothingness that's going on. And I know that's probably not even a word, but yeah, you get the picture. Northern Plains, really not much of anything going on. We have to go either way out into Canada or the Appalachian Mountains, where they've actually seen a couple of severe thunderstorms on the western side of the mountain range, or down toward New Mexico and Arizona, where they've had a little bit of moisture. Here, though, not much of anything to go on. We just get this beautiful scene, for example, at Lake Madison, 68, a light and variable breeze in place. It's also been looking very nice here in downtown Sioux Falls. Just a couple of fair weather clouds above, 77 with a north wind at just 9 miles per hour. We're pretty close to average right now for this time of year in many locations. 80 Winter, 81 for Phillip, 80 in Rapid City, but noticeably cooler, 68 in Custer, 75 for Spearfish, 76 Buffalo, as well as Pierre, Huron, Yankton, and Valentine. 69 degrees up in Aberdeen. In fact, 60s for much of northeastern KELOLAND, and that's even with the sunshine that's been in place. So we don't have much of anything going on. We'll zoom in a little bit more. If you really wanted to try and get a little nitpicky, there's a couple of thunderstorms east of Rochester, a couple of down toward Cedar Rapids, Iowa, but that's about as close as anything gets to us, and that's going to be as close as anything gets to us for a little while at least. Highs tomorrow, 70s and low 80s in southeastern KELOLAND with a nice light southerly breeze this time around. That's going to help bring in a little more warmth. We'll be seasonably warm. Same rules apply up to the northeast, 70s up towards Sisseton, Watertown, and Canby, but a low 80s in Miller and Huron. Out to the west and in central KELOLAND for that matter, we're looking at mid to at times upper 80s in several areas with a few pockets of upper 70s for good measure. We do have some rain on the way. It's not much, but considering the lack of rain we have to talk about, it's at least something. We'll go through that and the rest of your 7-day forecast as we head through the hour.
Okay, thanks, Adam. The CDC has voted to recommend a brand new version of the COVID-19 vaccine after the FDA approved it as well.
KELOLAND News Washington, D.C. correspondent Alexandra Limon spoke with lawmakers about the new shots.
We're in our strongest position yet to fight COVID-19.
Officials say there's a safe new way to fight the latest COVID-19 variants with the newly approved COVID vaccine.
The federal government is putting vast amount of money into research, and these mRNA vaccination are really working.
Everyone older than 5 is eligible for the new COVID-19 vaccine, and kids under 5 can also get it, but they may need more than one dose. Last week, Republican Senator Rand Paul criticized the recommendation for multiple doses for kids.
Norway, South America, and the UK all chose to recommend only one dose of Pfizer due to the risk of cardiovascular side effects for booster in kids.
But Dr. Anthony Fauci says it's important to consider all of the facts.
The risk of myocarditis from COVID itself is greater than the risk of the vaccine.
And Virginia Senator Tim Kaine says research and COVID vaccine development need to go further.
I'm wondering whether there are alternative vaccines that can be developed that would be more durable.
He also wants the federal government to do more research on long COVID.
And also to spread best practices to providers and employers and patients.
Last year, Senator Kaine helped secure $10 million in funding for long COVID research, and he's hoping for an additional $10 million in the new budget. In Washington, Alexandra Limon.
The shots could be ready this week. Coming up on KELOLAND News at 6, we'll talk with a doctor at Sanford Health about the new COVID vaccines and what hospitals are seeing for cases in South Dakota.
Well, government advisors say that the leading decongestant used by millions of Americans doesn't actually work. The decongestant in question is used in over-the-counter versions of Sudafed, Dayquil, and most other cold and allergy medicines.
Drug makers reformulated their pills and solutions with the ingredient after a 2006 law required an older drug to be moved behind the counter. But researchers have long questioned the ingredient's effectiveness. FDA advisors say new studies show it was no better than a placebo at relieving congestion.